I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different, and every breakup is different. Work with me, and you'll get professional help on your situation. Just click on the link in the description below, or go to my website, askcraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about when they don't appreciate you. So, one of the main problems that I see come up in relationships time and time again is that one partner doesn't appreciate the other one. Now, what happens a lot of the time is that people tend to take each other for granted. And this happens especially when one person is doing all the giving, repeatedly trying to please the other person. We kind of instinctually believe that the more that you do for somebody, the more they're going to appreciate you, and the more they're going to value you and care about you. But the truth of the matter is, that isn't how it works. You see, what happens is, when you're trying to please somebody all the time, eventually they get used to it. Now, if you have two partners that are going back and forth, and they're both giving and receiving, then that's a completely different story. That's what you want. That's healthy. If you're in a situation where it's one-sided, and you're doing all the giving, and they're getting all the receiving, they're not going to really value you. Ironically, you would think that would be the way that it is, but it isn't, because the one person doing all the giving is actually investing in that other person, while they're just taking and not kind of having to do an equal amount of work. So things can get very one-sided in relationships, and you can fall into that pattern, and the more you try and give them to try and make them appreciate you, the more they kind of like, meh, whatever, he always does that for me, she always does this for me, and they don't appreciate you or truly value you. They take you for granted. And I remember dating a girl years ago who I haven't talked about much, and I lived with her for, I guess, about a year or two, and we were together for about 4 years. And both me and my family did a lot for her because she came from a difficult situation. She had a really, really rough home life, and it was, to be honest with you, extremely abusive. She had a really horrible childhood, and so we tried to take really good care of her, tried to do a lot for her. Well, the more that we did for her, the more she became ungrateful, negative, would complain all the time, would complain about this, or my mom did that. My mom was a great, sweet person. She would complain about her cooking or this or that. And so it just got into a cycle where it just got worse and worse and worse. And she truly didn't appreciate me. And not just me, my family, because my family was very good to her too. So, today's video, I found that I really felt like this guy was not appreciated by the girl. This is a couple. They're in their mid-20s, and they've been together for 4 years. Long time. So, he gave me her backstory, and he told me that she's the oldest of 3 children. She has a brother and a sister. The dad divorced with mom early on and had a cocaine problem. He is now in jail for life because of Medicare fraud. Wow, that's some serious issues going on there. Dad obviously had tons and tons of issues. Cocaine problem, Medicare fraud. So think about the kind of man this is, and the kind of woman mom must be to have really wanted to spend her life with him. Think about what she's attracted to. So mom obviously had a rough life too. The dad rejected his ex after he remarried and did not want to be part of her life. How horrible is that? Just because his relationship with her mother didn't last, how does that even, like, that has nothing to do with his relationship with his own child. That's ridiculous. And it goes to show how extremely selfish and immature this man is. And you can imagine how difficult it would be for her to trust any guy if your dad is acting like this. The mom moved to Detroit to appease the stepfather and essentially abandoned my ex a little less than a year ago. My family and I took her in and we lived together for 8 months. So this is what stood out to me as a big part of this issue. I'm wondering if taking her in, did she help around the house? Did she try and clean? Did she pay some bills? Did she offer to cook? Or did she just get on a free ride? Because that's kind of what happened with my ex many, many, many years ago. She got a free ride. She didn't appreciate it. Looking back at it now, she should have been a lot more involved with helping around the house and at least contributing a little bit to the bills. She was still in school, but at least a little bit, so she valued what she was getting. He said in late January, she moved out to an efficiency a couple of blocks from my house. She had expressed anxieties about living alone, but I thought it wasn't a big deal since she would be at my house most of the time anyways. A little confusing, right? Why did she move out in January? If she's got to get over there and she's going to spend most of her time there anyway, what is the point of moving out? Why not move out with her or save up money together to move out together? But this tells me that something may have been going on in January. He just didn't know about it. He said, this semester I had a busy schedule and she began to feel more emotionally distant. In February, I had a kidney stone and was sidelined for a bit. In early March, she mentioned, almost out of the blue, that she was thinking about breaking up with me. Out of the blue for him, not for her. She had been thinking of it. Now, think about this. This is in March. She moved out in January. January, February, March. My guess is that once she moved out, or even before she moved out, she was thinking about it and just hadn't said anything. I was able to convince her to work on the relationship since she mentioned that she was just bored with the routine of things, and I was committed to doing all the things that she wanted to do, mainly going out more. That is what she told me at the time. Throughout the month of March and April, I did the best I could and was constantly reassured by her that things were getting better. We had so many special moments in that month together. Or so he thought. On April 10th, she broke up with me over the phone. Oh, that's so kind of you. Thank you for valuing me and appreciating me and all the things me and my family have done for you so much to break up with me over the phone. It's so great of her, isn't it? Considering she lives 2 blocks away, I don't think it would be that difficult to say, let's get together and talk about things. This came as a shock, since the day before we had gone out to brunch and she wanted to take pictures. She was distant that day when we got back to the house because she said she was going through personal issues. She mentioned it was about her father. Interesting. She mentioned it was about her father. What did I say earlier? It would be very hard for her to trust men when you got issues like that from your dad. So, I'm wondering if that brought up, I can't trust this guy, or I can't trust relationships, or I can't be in a relationship. I don't know, maybe some kind of correlation that was going on there unconsciously. The first words out of her mouth when we spoke on April 10th is, I want to break up. I am not in love with you anymore. If that's not bad enough, let me go on. I am talking to someone else and I like them. Oh, isn't that swell? Thanks so much. I'm so glad you could tell me that over the phone after living with me and my family for so long and trying to help you out when you had such a rough life. Think about how little integrity this woman has. She moves out, she starts talking to some other guy, she's probably been lining him up for months, and now he says, I like him. Hi. So long. Hey, don't forget to forward your mail to my house. Or my mail to my house. I'm tongue twisted today. Okay. I simply told her that, to me, she was the most special person on the planet, and that's why I still wanted things to work out. So, wait till you see how bad this gets. This poor guy is saying, this is the most special person on the planet, and she's saying, I'm not really wanting to be in a relationship with you right now. I want to break up. I found somebody else, and I like him. Wait, it's gonna get worse. That day, she dropped off the key at my house, and a shirt that she had, and a hat of mine. She sent me a text saying that she had done so, and told me that the person she was talking to was a person on Twitter. She left this guy after 4 years to be with a guy she's talking to on Twitter. I can't make this stuff up, people. How delusional is this woman? Pretty delusional. She is living in a fantasy that's so far beyond comprehension. It's unbelievable. This is absolutely crazy. She told me his Twitter handle. It happened to be a Twitter account that I introduced her to. Hi, I'd love to introduce you to this Twitter fella over here. Oh, thanks. Thanks. He's really cute. I think I'm going to leave you for him. Unbelievable. How good were this guy's tweets? That he was just, oh my God. Did you see this tweet? This fella. I gotta leave you for him. I can't even believe this. 4-year relationship for a guy on Twitter. After she sent me that text, I only responded with, what the fill in the blank. Because it caught me by completely by surprise. Yeah, you think? Unbelievable. Now it is obvious that she had an emotional relationship online with this guy for months. Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking. Probably right after she moved out, maybe before then, who knows. Oh, actually you would know because you introduced her to this young fella. This young tweeter. He is from Cleveland and she is in Miami. I have gone straight, no contact for 13 days so far. I have made my Twitter account private. Oh man, this is all circled around a Twitter. And removed her access from my life completely. Absolutely, I would have done the same thing in that situation. She contacted one of my best friends yesterday who disapproved of what she was doing to say that she felt he was disrespecting them. And he was planning on moving down. Yeah, right. Do you guys remember the video I did about probably 2 or 3 months ago? Actually, I did a few. I did one probably in December, and then a follow-up where the girl left the guy. She was living with the guy. They were they'd been together for like 4 years or several years. She was living with him and the parents to go be with another guy in another state that she had not met, and supposedly she was engaged to him. Remember that one? That reminds me of this story as well. Unbelievable. Very similar, very similar. And you know what happened with that one? Actually, I told you this in another video. A couple months later, she said didn't work out with the other guy. The other guy was abusive, and she basically told him, I wish I had never broken up with you. It was a mistake. Well, you can bet that something along those lines will probably happen here too. Okay. He said that the problems in the relationship was that he was busy because he was trying to be an attorney, and she complained that he played video games. Well, what woman doesn't complain about their man doing that? Actually, there are some really cool chicks out there. I take it back. I take it back, ladies. Don't get upset. Stop. I don't want to see any comments below. Not about that. Okay. This was her first serious relationship, and her and I grew up together. Honestly, our relationship generally felt great, and this came out of left field. I treated her extremely well, we had great times, and my family really took her in. I understand that there were certain things we could work on, but she, as a general, lack of communication. And she has a general lack of appreciation, because at no point did she act like an adult with you, or her fantasy. She's living in a fantasy. She is leaving a 4-year relationship for a guy she's never met, who she tweets with. I'm sure some of you guys are like, this would never happen to me, but you'd be surprised. Happens. Crazy stuff happens like this all the time. I also have reflected on this no contact period and feel like I know the things that would make the relationship better. I don't know, maybe if you were a better tweeter. That's why she left you. Your tweets were marginal at best, of course. Also, she is still in contact with a close friend of mine and is dropping hints that he may be moving down. It seems like everything is moving extremely fast, and I don't know what is or isn't true. Yeah, and there's a good chance it's going to fall apart just as fast. She has never met this guy. It's a complete fantasy. Not gonna last. No way it's gonna last. The chances of it lasting are like 3%, and that's the plus minus 3 for margin of error. That's about the only chance this is gonna last. Maybe it'll last 3 months, especially if they go to move with each other, and then it'll take some time before they're like, wow, I really don't even know this person. Unbelievable. This really came from left field, but it really seems so weird that it will actually last. Well, I highly doubt it. Like I said, I really don't think it's going to last. I've thought a lot, and I genuinely want this person back, so I want to know what you think are my chances. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. I truly believe that this was a result of her abandonment issues, and I have a hard time seeing this as something long-term. I think that she has an anxious attachment style, wasn't getting her emotional nurturing, and began this online emotional relationship as a substitute. Yes, you're probably right, but what about her lack of emotional integrity to the situation, or her inability to communicate that she needed more from you? I sincerely don't think this will last, and believe that many ways that I have handled this with no contact have hopefully helped my chances. Thank you for your time. Well, I definitely do not think this is going to last, and I suspect that there is a high probability that after it falls apart in fantasy world, she will realize that she really screwed up, and she probably will realize how much she misses you. Now, I would be very, very, very cautious as to how to proceed with this woman, because if she can walk away from you after 4 years for a guy that she's met on Twitter, I mean, think about if she got on Facebook. Who knows what's going to go on Facebook? She could leave you for 25 guys on Facebook. I joke, but this is ridiculous. And I'm angry because of the way she handled this. And she has shown zero compassion or sensitivity for this guy in any way, shape, or form, including the way she broke up with him over the phone. After 4 years of being together, that's incredibly selfish and immature. And the least that she could give him is a conversation. But she didn't. It's unbelievable. What's clear to me is how much you truly value and appreciate this woman. As you said, she's like the most amazing girl in the world. But if there's no reciprocation, the chances of it lasting or being successful are very, very slim. You have to have two people that value each other and look forward to seeing each other and care about each other and think highly of each other. And if they don't, you need to value yourself. If they don't value you, you need to value yourself and value yourself more than you value them. And I think that even if she did come back around, which probably will happen at some point, I would make her work very, very, very hard to get you back. because then if you want to get my help personally, go to my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching, I do Skype coaching, and I do emergency Skype coaching if you got to get with me within 24 hours. If you like the video, throw a like on there. I really do appreciate that. And be sure to subscribe to the channel because I do post videos Monday through Friday. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.